Germs are all around us. They're everywhere. Sometimes people are frightened and scared of them for no reason. And sometimes the origin of all our germs is actually a symbiotic relationship that we need. If we go back to the beginning, we've all been part of it. And if we really want to talk about it, you can join us, because we're going to talk about your mom's vagina. So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
We're old friends dissecting one topic at a time. People, technology, media, we've got it all covered.
Each discussion here is a deep dive into our unique perspective. The taboo, forbidden subjects, they're all on the chopping block, baby. We don't pander to popular opinion. We might even get a little bit dirty.
Warning, this podcast may contain mature language and sexual content, and is for infotainment purposes only.
So join us. Have a good time.
Open up your ear holes, because we're going to fondle your follicles. All right. So we're back.
Wow. We did it, folks. We're back. This is incredible.
We have a returning special guest.
2, 3 people.
Ah.
Special guest.
What's up?
Susanna? Yeah, there you go. Can you do your own intro?
She does her own intro. Watch, you guys are gonna love this. She practices this all the time.
It's
Here it
the
is.
best. I've been
In
working on
3, 2, 1, do it.
Guys are assholes.
I apologize.
Just getting you into it. It's
Plus,
okay.
I'm not going to be able to follow your mom's vagina.
Yeah, I have to come back from that.
There's
I have to come back from
a
mom's
scientific
vagina
reason we
comment.
do that, yeah.
Mhm.
So it's Susanna. She has a PhD depression. She's also a PhD student that's almost there, almost complete in microbiology.
Get there, folks. She's gonna get there. We're rooting for
Yeah. Just to clear up the mom's vagina thing.
her.
Just to make it clear, it was scientific. Because when you're first born, there are babies that are born via C-section. They don't get to go through the vagina. And other ones that go through the vagina, they pick up bacteria that helps digest milk. So it's part of the symbiotic relationship that people have with bacteria that helps babies digest milk.
Wow. I didn't know it was milk digestion related, but I do know that we get some vaginal microbes. So shout out vag microbes.
Yeah, so there's really no reason to be a germaphobe because everyone's a germaphobe when they first start.
And everyone's covered in germs all the time, at all times, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're just screaming in a germ world.
Yeah.
Well, could you guys give me the definition of germaphobe?
I think you have it on your sheet there. That's why you're flailing it around.
No, my favorite thing to do is wiki it, and I didn't happen to wiki germaphobe. I thought maybe someone else here did.
Oh, what was it? Misophobia? It's the fear of the contamination of the germs.
So it's not the germs themselves, it's the getting sick from them? Is that always the
ideological
fear?
Yeah, I mean, I looked up the same thing. I did the Wikipedia thing.
Yeah.
And
What was it?
yeah, it's more of the idea. It's not so much the fear of bacteria. It's more of like the fear of the ones that make you sick. Because like you said, you're covered in it. Everything's covered in it, but not everything is going to make you sick. So you're afraid of the ones that are going to just like the pathogens.
They're going to get you good. Well,
Where are the pathogens? Are they
everywhere?
on toilet seats around the world?
Yeah. I mean, the thing to keep in mind is that bacteria, like anything else, they're like polar bears don't do very well in the Sahara. And so some bacteria do really well in certain conditions, whereas they wouldn't in others. And so the ones that are going to make you sick are the ones that are going to be living really well at your body temperature. So you don't really need to be worried about the kind of bacteria that are actively living in, the hot springs. But something that's going to be a little cooler, closer to warm, like human temperature, like a hot tub, that's going to be disgusting stuff.
98 degrees, moist, some nastiness going on, like in...
Old people, dead skin.
Yeah, no.
Going
tubs?
with kitchen sinks. Do you know that? A lot of E. coli in your kitchen sink. It hangs out in there.
Yeah.
Temperature, it's nice. It's got moist, got a lot of stuff to eat that you throw down there.
Yeah, you always add stuff.
What?
Well, that's what they tell you to like not wash your chicken before you eat it. And one, because it doesn't actually clean anything off the chicken. But two, you're just going to be like splashing chicken juice.
Chicken juice as far as the eye can see.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did record this for you guys. The germiest stuff in your house.
Oh.
As per, I think it's by CFUs. What is it? Colony forming units of bacteria. So it's not just regular bacteria individuals. It's colony formers, as in big old groups. Is that? Am I?
You're kind of right. So
Okay.
Basically, what it means is that if you took, let's say you knew there was 100 bacteria in a little bit of liquid. If you took that liquid and plated it all out, you probably wouldn't get 100 individual colonies. You'd have a couple that would be stuck together. Maybe a few of the bacteria would die. And so what scientists do is instead of saying, oh, there's this many bacteria, they say there's this many colony forming units. So it could come from one bacteria. It could come from a couple, but it's just kind of semantics or,
Okay. Well, the highest CFUs in your house, colony forming units, folks. Do you know who number one is? In the entire house.
Your phone? Does that count as part of your house?
Phone isn't as high. Really? Phone is higher than your toilet, interestingly enough.
Is it like your shoes or something?
No, it's actually this guy right here.
Oh, yeah.
Sponges are
your
gross.
Sponge.
Anyone who uses
sponge
a sponge
has like, everyone uses a sponge.
Yeah,
what
but
are you talking about?
You leave it there for like a day, it's dirtier than anything you could,
So hold on, I got some stuff on the sponge, okay? 86% of sponges they tested in these studies have either mold or yeast growing in them. 77% of them have coliform. Is that some kind of harmful bacteria maybe? Of those, 18% had staph, the nasty poop one. Yeah, thank you. And they say every 2 weeks you should get a new sponge, folks. I know, this isn't a gimmick. We're not trying to sell sponges on Panders. We sell sponges. We sell all different things. Check our website at the end. Buy a new sponge every 2 weeks. But on top of that...
the Sponge of the Month Club.
Sponge-worthy.
So I also read that every day, while it's still damp, you should microwave your sponge for 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Like, excuse me?
That's a long time.
This is what I read on a website. Now, to prove that I'm not a germaphobe.
Is that real sponge? Have you used that on your dishes or not?
Look,
that's water.
It's still wet from tonight.
From water.
Yeah, well, I was cleaning off the dishes. Yeah, I was cleaning the dishes. I'm a clean guy. You better believe it. I'm a dirtball, but I also clean a lot, if that makes sense. Number
you should
2.
probably clarify that that's dirt on you, not just like.
Oh, this is actually dirt from outside. I knew we were doing an episode on germs and dirt and the like, and I thought I really want to get in character. So I thought I'd just smear a little dirt under my eyes. Problem is, it's 23 degrees outside. So I went outside and it was all frozen. I couldn't work it. So I broke off chunks of ground and I just started rubbing them on me. And it hurt. It was like literally like it was like putting rocks on my head and grating me. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm going to show them. And at that point I had committed pretty far. So I grabbed some leaves, I threw them in there, and then some more dirt, frozen dirt. And it hurt, but I feel like I've accomplished a lot. I feel good.
It's good.
I'm not afraid of dirt. Definitely not afraid of dirt or germs.
Not afraid of dirt. I don't know how people who are afraid of dirt have kids. Like,
Kids are the dirtiest things alive.
Yeah.
Gross. They'll like sneeze into your mouth.
And then they'll eat their fists and rub it on your face and then vomit right afterwards. It's fantastic.
My kid would get sick in a store where we didn't have tissues or napkins and just sneeze and a line of snot would be coming. And I'd be like, well, got to get that. And I'd reach over to his face, grab his snot and just wipe it on my pants or my shirt, at the time. And it wasn't until I did it. My girlfriend was like, what are you doing? That's so disgusting. And I was like, do you want me to rub it on his clothes? Like, what do we do? No one has a tissue. We're walking in CVS. We can buy tissues, but you can't open them until you pay for them. Like, do you know? At least that's the way I figured. I was thinking it anyway.
I like the idea of wiping on him. Like,
yeah, like that's rude. I mean, I feel like that would be real mean. He wouldn't care. You're absolutely right. These are yours anyway, pal.
It in his hair. He wouldn't care.
Yeah, would he?
Or the
Oh, you have a guest as well? Is there a fourth guest here? Can we introduce someone?
Yeah, he's like, oh, speaking of disgusting.
oh. I heard a rumor that dogs' mouths automatically clean themselves, but it takes a while. So is she gonna?
Oh, there it goes.
That's
oh boy.
What
Now we make out all the time.
Bacteria in dogs' mouths. You see that?
There's some cool stuff where like you and your dog share some of the microbiome. They can see differences in people who do and don't have dogs.
I heard this. Is that why?
What?
I heard this. Is that why? I thought it was just strictly smell related because they can smell you, but maybe the microbes are the ones that smell a certain way. I didn't think of that.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. Like some of the smell you make is because of bacteria and fungus. Fungus especially. Like that's why our feet smell bad.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Dude, what do your dog's feet smell like?
Fritos.
That's crazy. My dog smelled like Doritos.
No, that's a normal thing. It's because of it's because of staph epidermidis.
Ah, check
that out. So it's a specific type of bacteria that live on pretty much all dogs' feet.
That's amazing.
They smell like Fritos, which has completely ruined Fritos for me. Not that
it depends on
really
what you like
Fritos.
Dog's feet. Oh,
I don't know. I still like Fritos, and I actually, me and my sister would smell Nitro or Nash's feet and be like, and just laugh. As I'm covered,
it's honesty right there.
Dirt, as I'm covered in dirt. All right, I'm gonna admit something on the podcast. This might come off as weird. This might come off as a fetish. I don't think it's a fetish. It might come off as serial killer. So if I remove my fingernails or whatever, like I'll smell them before I throw them out, and they smell like weird, like not Fritos, but I'm like, I like it.
Like the smell of your
you guys want to touch that?
So like even their fingertips, like if you sniff your,
because if I sniff my fingertips, it's like it smells like skin. And well, right now it smells like dirt. It really smells like dirt from outside, like right outside my house. But in general, I think I like the smell of my fingernails, but I do always throw them away. For the record, I knew a guy who would keep his in a drawer at our old job. He had it was filled.
That's gross.
Yeah, I don't know if he likes the smell too. No, I'm telling you guys. Anyway, no one wants to touch this with a pole. Let's move on. That's fine.
Wait, how do you
No, they were still in the drawer. No one is removing the fingernails.
There's that, but I mean, like, how do you start that? Like, how does that?
Well, I think
you just accidentally one day you're like, oh, I need to trim my nails, but I don't want to get up and throw them away, and then you're like, oh, that worked out really well.
I'm fascinated with like scabs or something that comes off of me. Like I'll look at it, I'm like, that's crazy. That was like part of my elbow or something. I throw it out. So I'd be looking at a fingernail and be like, whoa, that's wild.
Yeah, and but if you started saving them, like that's
that's I think where you cross the line. There are people who put them in jars and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of grossness out there.
Those people do anything. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just of the opinion that everyone has their own version of gross.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all think it's about the same level of gross, but if you actually lined it up against each other, you'd be like, wow, that is fucking disgusting.
You'd be like, this person's out of their goddamn mind.
It's like the older you get, the more you're like, oh, what I thought was gross, 8 years ago, that's just a normal everyday thing.
Right. I found a whole new level of gross.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You're right.
I wonder do you think people got more gross with the internet? Like, do you think that the shit that happens on the internet happened 50 years ago?
Like, I'm going to go fetishes? Like people who have fetishes go as deep as
they
want to go.
A little bit. But what she brings up a really interesting point that I think of this all the time. Because you have access to everyone else's fetishes and weird stuff, does that make you copy theirs and kind of like we all have a set amount now that like either do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Or have we opened a door where these fetishes are okay? I'm going to get into even fucking weirder ones. And that's a really good question.
Well, I find stuff where I'm like, I would have never thought of that. Like,
thought of even trying to squish balloons with your private parts, like against a clown or
there was one that I saw. Well, we're gonna get real graphic here, but there was one that I saw with two girls, and like one spit the cum down her like shoe, and the other girl ate it, and I was like, why did we do that? Like
out of the shoe?
It was like a strappy sandal, like a high heeled sandal.
Oh, I get it.
It was
now.
like a little. like a little shoe luge. Who thought of that? Was it somebody in the room? Did she ad-lib that? But I would have never in my life thought of that scenario.
That's like the police sketch artist in the back, just like he's diagramming these scenes. It's like it's what he does at night.
Do you think that makes the scene hotter? And then if it doesn't appeal to someone, they're just like, I'll ignore that. That's fine.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you don't lose hotness. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's a win-win situation.
Well,
like it's like I'm just gonna ignore it, right? I'm just gonna ignore this scene right here. I'm fine with everything else. But someone's like, "Whoa, yeah, I gotta Google that."
I mean, it stuck with me. I'm not into it, which that's nice, but
I mean, you could. There's a lot of worse things in porn. It's like whenever they focused on the guy, so you just gotta have like for men they have to black that out. Whenever, yeah.
I have heard that from dudes. They're like, I hate when I'm watching something and for some reason it just shows a dude. He's like talking. It freaks him out.
He's going to be there. I mean, they need two to party. You don't need two male individuals. We've done an entire episode on pornography and what's big right now. The ladies are taking back porn. It's like woman on woman is going to be like number one in like 8 years, which is fine with me. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I think everyone's fine with it. I think everyone's fine with that.
Well, for two reasons, and it actually comes back full circle to this episode. One, women are more beautiful in general, right?
Yeah,
we agree.
That's true.
And two, they're cleaner. Men are actually scientifically dirtier. Did you know that?
Really?
I did not.
Yeah, I read an article just right before the episode started. Physically, right. I think it started with a survey on showers.
Oh, how often we shower?
Men shower less than women. Mm-hmm. What do you guys, roughly? Once every week or two?
1.5 a day.
What? You're over one a day?
Yeah, I am. You're not? You do under one?
No. I'm like 5 a week.
You skip a couple days? Which days do you skip?
I mean, if I'm working real hard and I didn't do a run or a workout, like I'm like, it's nighttime already. I have work tomorrow. I want to wear my tie. I'll just shower in the morning, and that's my next day shower.
I found out real fast that I pretty much only shower. Like if it's just the couple times I've been stuck in my house, I'm just like, nah, don't need it. Don't need to shower. I'll shower if I work out, but then yeah. So I believe it that way that. Like, yeah, definitely dudes, I think in general shower less or they don't shower as effectively. I think a lot of times I've been around guys when they shower and I'm like, okay, but you missed half of your body. Like you just like washed your hair.
And just like the hair soap and then the chest and then they're done. Like that kind of
just
deal.
like rinses off.
No, I'm OCD about the shower. I have actually a routine. It's always like I brush my teeth in the shower, then I have to shampoo, then I have to start up to down because I feel like you don't want to work your privates and then cover your face. Come on. You're not like scrub a dub and then scrub a dub. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I always end up with my feet last. And then like after that, no, I do face wash before that. Come on, let's not get ridiculous.
So bath versus shower. Do you always take a shower?
I haven't had a bath in like 9 years, dude.
Same. I think baths are disgusting.
You're sitting in your own filth. Oh, what are you going to do?
There's a stat that said, baths are like 100 times dirtier than trash. Like your trash can?
That makes sense. Well, I think about the shit that I'm like, I would never like want to rub my feet against the rest of my body. I mean, I would if I could. That'd be fucking weird, but like
physically just doing distorted weird moves. That would be awesome.
Yeah, like I'd be down for that, but
not for the other part.
Actually, hot tubs are my hard limit. Like I will not go into a hot tub. They're so disgusting.
Do a hot tub?
Huh?
You won't even do a hot tub? Have you ever been in one?
Yeah. I used to enjoy hot tubs, and actually nothing's bad has happened to me. People ask me this all the time. Like I met somebody last week and they were like, "Oh, I wasn't sure if I should shake your hand because you're a microbiologist." Look, we're getting right back to it. Yeah. And because they were like, "I don't know, you could be a germaphobe." And I'm actually like way more disgusting now that I know more about bacteria and stuff. Like the stuff that'll make you sick is stuff that we do all the time without thinking about. Like every single person I know checks their phone while they're in a bathroom, like whether or not they're doing it on the toilet or if they're just like at the sink and looking at it. Mm-hmm. That is like the most disgusting thing you can do because you're going to do that even if
you poop and
wash your hands.
It's all in the air. It's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. You've been touching stuff. Even if you wash your hands, as soon as you take your phone back out, you just got all that bathroom junk.
Say poop germs. Poop germs.
Yeah, poop germs.
We're talking poop germs, folks.
Germs. Yeah. So I think stuff like that I don't get freaked out about anymore. But the one thing I was like, I am never doing that again is hot tubs. For the same reason as we were talking about, that it's the perfect temperature for all this crazy stuff. And the thing is that it comes from your body. And the biggest difference is it's called like a lot of these. So, okay. You think about something like salmonella. We'll talk about food poisoning later, but salmonella doesn't really live on people unless you get sick with it. If you get a whole bunch of it, then you're going to get really, really sick. But it's not something that you find all over yourself all the time. Versus something like Staphylococcus aureus. It's like 30 to 70% of people carry that on their skin. But the thing is, your skin has all these different mechanisms of protecting you. It's going to, like, there's chemicals that kill bacteria, other bacteria kill it. You're constantly sloughing off layers. And the point is that if you are healthy, if you are not immunocompromised, your body is going to be able to keep those in check. It's sort of like they get groomed, cutting the grass outside. But as soon as you get those bacteria into something that there aren't those natural protection mechanisms, if you're not sterilizing everything, they will grow to a point where your body would, if it's reintroduced to that, it's so many bacteria. So a lot of really disgusting bacteria and fungus love hot tubs. And to have enough bleach in there to actually kill the bacteria, no one would go in that. It would be super bleachy and you'd come out and all of your skin would be burning. So yeah, I've got some gross things and I will not touch hot tubs.
So then
Lord,
the balance of germs on your body, if it becomes out of whack, is that dysbiosis then?
Ooh, what's this word mean? I didn't see this word, guys. Come on, fill me in. I'm just a schlob. I'm just a guy covered in dirt who needs to know some new words.
Yeah, it's the unbalancing of germs, so they start to grow more readily. If you don't have a counter to a certain germ, then it's going to proliferate and then take over your body and maybe cause some bad things. Which
is this like a once a week thing, like a in your life thing? What is this, a condition?
No.
Sorry.
Well, a good example is when you take antibiotics or something. And basically you wipe out some. There's cases where people get really sick. Something called C. diff or Clostridium difficile will take over if there's not other bacteria living in your gut. So if you take a bunch of antibiotics, it's possible that this one dangerous bacteria will start growing. But one that most people are familiar with, whether because of themselves or a partner, is that it's really common for women, if we take antibiotics, to get a yeast infection like a week later. And that's because your mom's vagina is full of just a couple, it's really interesting, a couple different bacteria and like one or two strains of yeast. And it's to keep a really perfect pH balance. It should be pretty acidic, sort of like a lemon. And if it changes that acidity, you're going to end up with more bacteria or more yeast. And so if you take an antibiotic, you're going to bump out all the bacteria. It's going to become more basic and yeast are going to be like party time.
We're back.
So that's a version of dysbiosis where it's not like you've introduced a bunch new fungus or bacteria. It's just that they're growing better.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So as a germaphobe, you don't really have. I've never seen the germaphobes that are like taking constant antibiotics to stay healthy. That's more of like a hypochondriac. It's under a different kind of envelope. I think the germaphobes that we're kind of thinking about
envelope.
Yeah, envelope. The kind of germaphobes we're thinking about are the ones that are constantly like cleaning their hands. They're like sanitizing their whole body. They keep rubbing and scrubbing to get the germs off. Can the same sort of thing happen on your hands? Where you let things get out of whack on your hands and then you're touching your eyes and all sorts of part of your body where things can get in there?
Definitely. Well, actually what happens with your hands is that usually what people are using is an alcohol-based disinfectant.
Sanitizer.
And sanitizer, which two things. One, those sanitizers can get infected, contaminated. So they've tested the hand sanitizer pumps and they will have bacteria. So you're introducing new hand bacteria to your hands. The others is that your skin, your intact skin is like the best barrier to diseases. It's so good. It's so hard for bacteria to get through all of your layers of skin because you've got layers of dead skin on top of layers of live skin. And those layers of live skin have tons of immune cells that are going to go out and like move around your cells and look for anything that's weird. So your skin is like the best barrier. Now, if you're using a bunch of these alcohol-based sanitizers, you're drying out your skin and you're probably introducing like these little micro cracks, and suddenly you're more susceptible to getting infections in your hands. So it's really interesting to me that people get nerved out about skin, where really the places that you are going to introduce bacteria is anywhere moist. So your ears, not so much, but like your eyes, your mouth, etc., that's where you're going to get sick.
Sorry, I had a list of germaphobe like actions and reactions and stuff they do every day. And I thought we'd kind of discuss that a little bit because it's interesting that they don't actually necessarily prevent germs, like you were just saying. They use sanitizer every day. Doesn't necessarily work. They flush the toilet with their feet, right? Is that a thing in a public toilet?
That's gross. Then they introduce germs on top of the handle so everyone else touches it.
Everyone else gets germier.
Dude, that's such a normal thing for girls. That is such a normal thing.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Kick in the handle, flush it with the foot.
Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of
And then how do you get out of the locked bathroom with your hand on the lock? Because they say that bathroom lock.
Elbow? You don't touch anything? You're constantly
double elbow,
rubbing your eye with your elbow.
But the elbow thing is fucking weird too, because you never wash your elbows.
Yeah. Filthy, stinking elbows.
I'm picturing people
at least I
washing
can
their
wash
elbows.
my hands, but can you like scrub it in?
Wash another one. Paper towel with the to touch a door handle. Like it's like weird because you're going to touch the sink faucet and the fixture to turn on the water to get your soap going, right?
You know, there's
yeah. Well, that one's a big one. The lever for the soap is super gross. Yeah, but I honestly, like, if I'm in a gross bathroom, I will get a paper towel to start, and I will use that to turn on the water, wash my hands, turn off the water, get a new paper towel. Like, I'll use this as like a little glove, and then I'll use it to open the door, prop the door open, and throw it in the trash.
It sounds like a dissertation paper. That sounds like a lot of thinking and work, but God bless.
No, this shit is normal for women. That's the thing. Like, if you've ever...
Really?
Like, you don't get to experience this because you can't walk into a woman's bathroom. I have on multiple occasions.
No, I do all the time.
Yeah.
We can. I pretend I'm transsexual.
But I can't.
Well,
I can.
do it in other states.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll just go. Actually, what's funny now in North Carolina is that the bathroom bill says that.
The North Carolina? Is that state too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah. So technically, you have to go into the bathroom that matches with your sex assigned at birth. So
Really?
if I claimed I was assigned male at birth, they couldn't kick me out of the men's bathroom, and they'd also have to do a blood test to check it. But
XY chromosome.
Interesting. Scientific reasoning.
Weird.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really useful. But yeah, I've gone into men's bathrooms many occasions, and like guys have totally different habits.
So we can separate ourselves from those surfaces most of the time.
So one of my best friends at my new job, he is a gay man. He identifies as a super gay man. He's a designer. He's super gay, but he's awesome. I love him. Anytime I go to the bathroom with him, he's like, "What's going on over there?" I'm like, "Stop it, John." Anyway, he is the only person who gets me where we're both done peeing or something, and he's like, "Oh, don't wash your hands." And I'm like, "Yeah, I usually don't. I just saw you here. I was like, I was going to do it because you're here." And he's like, "No one washes their hands." And I was like, okay. And we both leave the bathroom. And that's a thing guys do a lot. Is that weird?
Yeah.
Dan,
yeah.
you wash your hands every time you pee?
Well, okay. But
probably like 95% of the time.
Wait, 95?
I'm pretty high.
I'm like 5% of the time I wash my hands after I pee. Maybe less. Because I don't really touch it. I like literally just lower my pants. So I'm not like ripping it up like, hey, let's go. Whoa. I'm not doing a whole lot of stuff. I'm just literally lowering my pants. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. This is something I did not know until like 2 months ago because I don't like watch dudes pee.
Yeah, of course.
It's a scientific study. Notebook.
Well, it's just one of those things. Like I've lived with a guy, but I just we have like 3 bathrooms. I don't need to be hanging out in there. It was it was like a month ago, and I was at this guy's house, and like you could just see from the bedroom to the bathroom, and he did that, and I was like, what the fuck? You don't have to do anything? Like I always had this idea that guys had to actually like take off their pants a little bit.
No, not at all. You can literally just lower the lip to where you want your wiener to angle. Like you literally, your pants angle the wiener. I'm sorry to get too graphic for the podcast. Yeah, so like if I'm like, hey, just lower it a little bit. There you go. I lowered my pants. Boom, go. And guess what?
That's insane to me. That's insane. I did know there's a difference between men and women peeing. Have you guys ever heard of this? That you guys have a pee shiver?
Shiver?
Yeah, I shiver when I pee a lot. This is
not a women thing.
Shake?
This is a dude specific thing. Yeah, when you like first start and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Girls don't have that. Like we have the thing. It's like it's been
I don't even know what to say about that. That's weird because I thought that was just universal.
No, this is something I learned it on BuzzFeed a while back, but it's like my favorite random fact. So women, like if we've not peed for a long time, it'll feel really good, but we don't have that thing where every single time we pee, we're like, whew, just like a little.
It's a spine tingling shiver. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
A little, yeah.
We don't have any shiver. So. It's actually like they think it's because it's the same process, like it's the same pathway as ejaculating. So like your brain's like, and it's not like, and it's not at all.
Wow, that's crazy. I never ever thought of that, and that's. Whew. Anyway, I don't wash my hands when I pee.
Yeah, sorry. We got a little off track.
No, that's really fine. That was interesting stuff.
If you did wash your hands, shouldn't you wash your hands before you pee too? Because like, aren't you introducing bacteria on your body?
That's an interesting point. And guess what? My wiener for most of the day is just locked in these pants, locked in these underpants.
Wet.
To be fair,
right? It's not going anywhere or like getting introduced to new things. I'm not like swinging it around like, hey, bacteria, check this out. Whoa!
your job.
Yeah. Hey, granite marble. Whoa! Like it's pretty hanging close to me, doing nothing. It's probably one of the least germy spots on my body. Look at the rest of me. I'm covered in dirt for a podcast. Yeah.
Well, I have always, you brought this up of like women are less dirty because they shower more, but that's something I have always wondered about. It's like, who is actually grosser? And I guess it would, maybe the question is not who's grosser, but who's carrying stuff that's more likely to get you sick.
Here's an interesting point. That's a good one. How about like farting? Is farting germs?
It's poop particles, right?
You'd be some, but
it's your own, so it's not.
Oh, that's a good question. No, so you can
fart yourself sick.
You can get pink eye from yourself.
Can you get it from farts though? You need to ask that question.
God damn.
Like you know what? Which could happen. There's like worlds in which that would make sense.
The one person who has pink eye.
I've seen some pornography like this. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but like, that's what I always think is funny about like. Ugh.
I don't know where you're going next.
Well, we can talk about bathroom stuff. So
that's well, we've also been talking about porn a lot, and that's oftentimes the one part that goes through my brain of like, ugh, they're gonna get an infection. Like,
that's a good point.
That's it. Kind of ruins some things. Where I'm like, oh, that's.
What about a germaphobe with like day-to-day stuff? Like we just talked about bathroom stuff, walking in the door, the handle. What about like?
I'll talk about the handle real quick. So there's actually like the metals they use, if it's copper or silver, they naturally kill bacteria. It's the
silver, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to butcher this one. I'm going to say oligodynamic effect. It's where after 2 hours, they actually tested the different numbers of bacteria and they reduced after that time frame. They also use certain coatings in medical facilities where they introduce copper so that it continually kills bacteria to make it sanitary.
Yeah.
Wait, so copper?
Copper and silver.
Oh, both. Okay, I'm sorry. I knew silver. I didn't know that about copper. That's interesting.
There are other metals that do it.
Well, is this because they can't grow on it? Because I want to talk about something else dirty that bacteria can grow on. So usually 24 to 48 hours is like what bacteria can grow on certain things like plastics and stuff. And it depends on the bacteria. I'm not generalizing all of them. I'm just saying a lot of them, 24 to 48 hours.
Not all bacteria.
Right. Not all men. Not all bacteria. I understand. What's interesting is this guy right here.
Ooh, money.
One of our other dirtiest things there, huh?
Oh, don't put that in.
I just did. Money is dirty as hell, right? Do you know why? Did a little research on dirty money, and it took me to a lot of mobster stuff, but then I finally figured it out. It's 75% cotton, 25% linen. Interesting. All these little natural pockets it has and things of that nature, it becomes a great germ carrier, not a germ transmitter. Check that out. You often don't get sick from money because the same process that keeps it alive, a flu virus can stay alive for 17 days on money. Outside of the money, no. The reason it's good at transferring the stuff is it has all these pockets and stuff. 92% of bills they found have Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus. It's okay.
Snuffleupagus. They're great at holding the germs and keeping them homey and giving them a home. But when we exchange bills, we don't often transmit these germs because they still stay in the bill. So money is dirty as hell, but it doesn't make you sick.
The curious thing you said is that paper money is not made of paper, which is true.
Isn't that wild? Did you?
I googled it to double check it. You are 100% accurate.
You get me wrong. God damn, I'm good. God damn it.
That can't be true. Literally, paper money is not made out of paper.
That's why you can put it through a washing machine, folks. That's why it can get wet. Come on.
Good moves.
Anyway, it's a great germ home. It doesn't give you germs, though, unless you lick it or whatever, or strip and put it in your mom's vagina or whatever, or put it wherever
those bacteria are.
So you were gonna ask like germaphobes and other daily activities.
Oh yeah, let's say kissing, sharing drinks, having big old intercourse. Oh boy, I jumped ahead.
I guess.
And germaphobes have sex. I know Susanna knows. Didn't you Google that before the episode?
Yeah, I Googled it, but it just sounds like it's just like have this first person account of.
I don't know.
I know Susanna knows about those germaphobes having sex. Yeah, no, I did Google it just to see what they said, and they're basically like everything has to be clean. I mean, they sound like
like baby wipes. It's just like.
Well, like.
You can use like an antiseptic. Like, hold on a second. I got some Listerine. I'm just gonna splash your body with it.
Ooh, Lister.
Can I rinse this?
Word. Yeah.
Oh.
But what I found, like everyone goes to the dentist and they ask if you floss, and you're like, yeah. Like,
sure. The big lie.
It's the same when you go to the doctor and they're like, do you use condoms? And you're like, yeah, I've used condoms.
Condoms?
And they're like,
Do you have
they're like,
$bucks a condom. I got them.
Yeah. Look at them and be like, yeah, I've totally used condoms for oral sex, of course.
Can you imagine
These people use condoms for every single thing. They're like, yeah, if I'm going to go down on a girl, she has to have a dental dam. I'm like,
that's those latex suits that they wear. I think that's why they wear them. Not that I know anything about that. Not that I know anything about that.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I'm into stuff.
I'm a germaphobe, guys.
I'm a germaphobe.
You're gonna have to put on this suit that fits you perfectly. Don't worry about it.
You're gonna have a
just slide into it,
and you're gonna bite this. It's because I'm into germs.
Oh my god, there's so many things you could like use that way. You could be like, oh, it's a germ thing, but you could do the opposite. You could be like, you know what? I really need to like inoculate my body with just shit. So,
so pee on me. Although, ironically enough, is piss
it's sanitary when it comes out. I heard you can drink it when it's fresh.
Oh no!
Is that the false? Is this the Bear Grylls fallacy?
Oh, no.
So this is a fun one because this got debunked like maybe 5 years ago.
When
It was
friends-
actually debunked a long time ago, but nobody paid attention.
Hmm.
So it's not that dangerous to drink your own or someone else's pee.
Someone else's, which is better.
But it is not sterile. The trick is that the bacteria, if you have a UTI, then the bacteria could survive out in the air. But in general, the bacteria that live in your bladder are what are called anaerobic. So they really can't make energy unless they're without oxygen.
When
So
oxygen is introduced.
yeah. So when you pee, that bacteria is not going to survive. Like, this is one of the things, you're better off peeing in the shower than coughing in the shower.
Thank God, I have good news for everyone. There's another thing I didn't tell anyone, but anyway, good. Let's skip this part. But I'm a big shower peer.
Aren't we all? Like, it doesn't, I just assume everyone does
drain.
that.
I don't know. Hold on, Dan. What's your number?
It's the
like
same drain. What
1%?
percentage?
Yeah.
I won't
half the time?
specify. I do that. I mean, it's relaxing, nice warm water running down your back. A nice
Yeah, really hot
exhale.
water.
It
I
just
know.
naturally,
I get it.
sometimes you don't even know. It just happens.
You don't even know. You're gonna know. Okay?
A little shiver at the end.
You're gonna shiver. Oh my God, that was amazing.
Oh, it's happening. But yeah.
Okay. I'm probably over 50%. Don't tell anyone who watches this. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, you just say you never wash your hands after you pee, so I think that's the first one.
So, yeah, a cleanlier option right there. So let's talk about Lister. You talk about the first time they actually used antiseptic. So there was a guy named Lister. I don't know his full name. Maybe
Joseph Lister.
Joseph Lister.
My God, I was gonna say John, but you were
Close.
way better. It's
Oh,
Joseph.
I got this.
So he was the first one to use an antiseptic during surgery to clean off wounds to make sure that nothing bad grew there. And that is, there's an homage in Listerine towards Lister because he did that.
Is that why Listerine does that?
Mm-hmm.
It's an alcohol-based thing, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out
Yeah.
Listerine.
Originally,
Pander.
I just saw this because I wanted to brush up on it, but originally they sold Listerine as both a floor cleaner and a cure for gonorrhea.
How do you?
Awesome.
What's the? Never mind.
How do you apply the gonorrhea cure? Is that
Yeah.
what you're wondering?
I just think it's funny. Like, the doctor's like, you're fucking disgusting. Go clean your floor and your vagina.
Here you go. Here's your sign.
Here's your sponge.
What's his name? Jeff Fisher. Here's your sponge.
Yeah. One, then the other.
Mm-hmm. So what did Joe Lister do? Joey L. That's why I knew him as. I'm sorry.
That's pretty much it. Unless he's got something else.
Oh, we're going to the next area here.
Well, I was going to go to like medical necessity of like cleaning germs.
Thank you.
So
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they try to sterilize via a few processes. So there's like for an operating
Said it right.
for an operating room, they have like positive flow, so air is constantly moving out, so they don't have outside germs moving in. They also spray those chemicals that have the oleodynamic effect, so that like the coppers, and then they add antiseptics. And they even like if you're having surgery, they make you wipe down with these special wipes.
Iodine.
Continuously kill bacteria. And then everything is scrubbed. So like soap and water is actually a better cleaner than the alcohols.
Are you kidding me?
It removes larger particles.
But alcohol has on the bottle 99.9% of germs killed.
Except
That's on the bottle. It's on the
0.1%.
bottle. Are you telling
It's
me
true,
it's
but
wrong?
think about, so here's the thing though, is like, okay, so soil, a gram of soil, so like this much soil can have up to 10 to the 10th bacteria.
That's like 100 bacteria.
Yeah, that's at least 100 bacteria. But if you kill 99.9% of that, you're still going to have, what, like 10 to the 7th bacteria?
Oh my God. Really?
But no, that's actually really true with the soap and
Is that
water. You're better off scrubbing vigorously with water than you would be to just wipe your hands with the sanitizer. It's actually more of the scrubbing that takes off most of the surface
Dead
germs.
skin,
The soap will
different
help
things, germs.
to kind of emulsify
surfactant,
the
yeah.
oils. Yeah.
Ooh, surfactant. You guys are dropping words like you guys Scientology right here. I'm telling you, guys are the best Scientologists I've ever seen. Scientology, Tom Cruise, Kate Winslet.
Actually, so Dan, I mean, with your job now, do you have to worry about cleanliness? And because apparently Nick doesn't, but
I shower daily. Yes, no.
You shower 1.5 daily. Let's not
with cow milking.
Yeah, so my job right now is to program things that involve cows getting milked. One of the things is a disinfectant that gets sprayed. So you're actually right. There's like a pre and post disinfectant. And my segue out of this conversation is that it's going to be a part of that disinfectant in the milk is going to get in the milk. And then also if you're drinking milk, there are parts per million of random stuff in your milk.
Point.
So as you're drinking something, if you're a germaphobe, you would probably be weary of biological stuff.
Sidebar, because my dog is dead. Oh, he was snoring like a
bastard.
Bastard. Dirty elbows.
Yeah. No, it's true though. So even when you pasteurize, that's why your milk goes bad even if it's sealed.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, pasteurize. Ba-ding. Keyword.
Louis Pasteur.
So what is it?
That's my boy.
You got to get it to like 150 degrees Fahrenheit to kill off.
I don't know. You know the number. Let's go.
So there's two ways to pasteurize. Actually, there's like a bajillion, but there's two ways that are normally done. There's one that's like more low and slow. I forget what the actual I think it might be like 135, but for like 10 minutes. I'm not exactly sure on exact numbers, but the other one is high speed, high pressure that is like 150 for like 2 minutes. I think that the high speed, high pressure is or high speed, high temperature is a little bit more effective, but it can also, it can also like denature some of the proteins. People think it maybe changes the flavor of the milk.
Mm-hmm.
You can also do like filtering of milk, but you're going to lose some stuff. That's why there's some milk where there's like in some fancy plastic bottle that's like ultra filtered, and it stays really good in your fridge for like a month.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Susanna is on point with that.
I'm not a milk guy, so that's not my thing. Did she just all of a sudden be like lounging on her couch?
Beer. She's pissed out.
Sorry. No, no,
I don't care. I literally the camera switched right when that happened.
She's about to sleep for 22 hours.
Okay.
That's essentially. No, I had to plug my computer back in.
Yeah, so the 250 is actually the sterilization. So if you're going to use like an autoclave or something that will like pressurize and sterilize, the temperature you want to get to is 250.
Interesting. I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of like the biosafety level? So like the CDC has like very dangerous bacteria, viruses, whatnot, in these like contained medical facilities. So they call them BSL number 4. So they keep it so that it's locked down, secured with all this kind of like all the things I mentioned before. If you were like in an operating room, plus there's like physical barriers. So they wear like a giant suit. Gloves, they constantly have oxygen pumped into their suits, so they don't have to deal with direct contact with bacteria that are...
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and BSL-4 is like the really bad shit. BSL-4 is like Ebola. Mm-hmm. There's few agents that actually are BSL-4, and there's very few places actually that deal with BSL-4 stuff. So there's this new facility right in the middle of Boston, and everyone lost their mind that they put it there.
Right in the middle of the city.
But there's also places in like Georgia and Texas, which is why when the Ebola outbreak happened, there were only so many places you could take the patients. But like UNC has a BSL-3 area where they work with Yersinia pestis, which causes the plague. And they have to get all suited up. They have to use like a gas mask and make sure that, you know, if anything touches them, they have to be
scrubbed, checked. 1 week.
Take antibiotics almost immediately, which is a bummer.
1 week in the thing, right?
Yeah. So I work with BSL-1 and sometimes BSL-2. So BSL-1 is like the baseline E. coli. So E. coli lives everywhere.
Wait, E. coli is BSL-1?
So E. coli is interesting. E. coli, you can think of bacteria sort of like different breeds of dogs, where like E. coli, it's all dogs, but whether or not it's going to hurt you or not is going to depend on the specific type.
Breed.
Exactly. So most E. coli, or the E. coli we use in the lab, really won't get you sick. It doesn't have the genes needed to make you really sick.
Teeth.
Yeah, exactly. But others have all these nasty, just chunks of genes that they can use to infect you in different ways. So.
Word.
Yeah. Yep.
So we all know Howie Mandel is a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Right?
I was watching a little expose on him.
Did you watch the 2020 or whatever the hell
he
it was?
was afraid of the floor.
Yeah.
He couldn't touch the floor.
He was afraid of... Do you remember when his pill dropped on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's staring at it, just looking at it. He's like, no.
No one's going to touch that. No one's going to touch that. No one's going to touch that.
He's a little bit OCD right there, a little obsessive compulsive disorder.
So OCD crosses over with the germaphobe area. And I don't know how to define the differences between the two, but what I did come across is that OCD has its own mental happenings. I made up the word. I'm sorry. I've been drinking. The orbital cortex. It's a part of your brain, folks. It's in the frontal lobe. Everyone look it up. You'll be fine. It's easy. It tells you whether you've been correct, wrong, rewarded, or you need a mistake. It's like the school part of your brain, right?
So I'm guessing the mistake part is just like mistake.
Yeah.
Mistake.
Well, hold on. It's an error detection thing. It tells you if you've made an error and you have to correct it. This part goes off in people with OCD, whether it's cleaning their hands, cleaning the counter, cleaning this, locking their doors. It comes up a lot.
So I have a quick story on this one.
Hold on. Jesus Christ, dude. You let me finish here?
Finish
I mean, if it's your podcast, you can call it Unpander Dan podcast, but that would be
Undanderers.
Which sounds better than Undid so I'll give him credit. I mean, I'll really give him credit. The cingulate gyrus comes up, and when you have a problem with your orbital cortex and it says, no, when it says, hey, we did something wrong. Hey, something's wrong. Hey, we did a false thing. We did an error. It alerts the cingulate gyrus, which makes you anxious. It makes you feel like, something's wrong. Something's weird. I didn't do something right. I didn't finish something. Something's wrong. I have to finish this. I have to get this off my skin.
Yeah.
It makes you anxious. It keeps going until your mistake is corrected, which is usually cleaning your hands for the 50th time. The third process is called it happens in the caudate nucleus. That's your brain's area where it says, it's very inner stem. It says, hey, all's clear. My man finished all the jobs he needed to do. Our mistake has been corrected. We're good. Let's move forward to a different project. Let's move forward and do something else. So it's like a 1, 2, 3 step that happens with people at OCD, especially cleaning. Go ahead. What do you got here? You're bouncing.
My cousin dated someone who was OCD, and she, at nighttime, had this routine where she would turn off all the lights, turn them back on 10 times. She would lock all the doors 10 times, and she would like walk into bed, double check everything, and then she'd lay down, and my cousin would say, "Are you sure that you did?" And then she would have to reset.
Do that. God damn it! Why would you want her to do that? That's annoying to you.
But it's a test to make sure that they're really OCD. Like if they're really OCD, they will do it again.
Well, that's a great test. That's wonderful. But OCD becomes not a thing where you have to flip a switch. It's a thing where your brain is saying, you know that feeling where you're like been corrected or you're wrong and you want to fix something? It's that. It's not I have to do it or I'll die. But your brain equates it to I have to do it or I want to die. Like there's a weird thing where your brain keeps making reasons to do something because it wants to feel complete and move to the next stage.
Yeah.
It's like blue balls for your brain. Oh my God, I'm going to come. Oh my God, I didn't come. I need to come. We need to finish this. We need to get resolution. It's a weird pressure that builds. So it's not like they actually maybe care about the germs so much, as we discussed at the very opening. It's not like they're like, oh my God, I'm worried about the 0.1% of germs that could make me sick. They're worried about their brain giving them peace of mind because there's something they didn't do. And this something they didn't do could affect them, affect their health, affect someone they love's health, affect their well-being, affect all these things. And they need to do it. It's like a dread, an anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I find the OCD version is.
So the realization of failing to clean yourself, we're saying for germaphobes, it's not an actual, it's not an actual fear that you should have, because most people probably don't die of the germs that they pick up naturally. Now, pneumonia is like one of the highest ones, but that really affects older people. So as you go through life, there's a chance that you're probably not going to die from an infectious disease unless it's like the plague, Black Plague, which is rare.
Or the plague.
Or the Black Plague.
Same thing.
Yep.
But yeah. Well, I think that's really true unless you're immunocompromised. So if someone who, has an immune disease or something like HIV turning into AIDS, then you're not going to be able to fight off the normal infections. Why is my dog snoring so much?
Did you notice?
I didn't notice either. You're good.
So annoying.
I noticed. My heart.
So the odds of infection killing you is actually like at every age is less than 5%. It's
really?
Yeah, it's below 5%.
Oh yeah. I think it's interesting though, is like we as humans have some innate, I don't know, drive to protect ourselves against some things and not against others. Like people are way more afraid of a shark attack versus getting in a car accident, which doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Or like you're way more likely to die from heart disease than getting, sick from somebody. But
so eat healthy and exercise every day. Nah, I'm okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Dan, have you been going to the tanning salon?
It's the amount of alcohol that I've drunken.
I
think it's cleansing my body of the bacteria.
Yeah, I think so.
I have so wanted to do this though. I've so wanted to figure out it would be super unethical, but figure out the microbiome of people who, if you're
drunk people versus sober people?
Yeah. Or you go for a month sober, test your microbiome, and then go on a weekend bender and just, because I used to think that in college where I was like, wow, I probably sterilized my entire insides. We're clean now. Not actually, that would be impossible, but.
Right. So do you guys want to move towards the final sector of our episode?
We're actually going to talk about mom's vagina because that's kind of weird.
Oh, go for that, because that's a little bit ties into the finality.
The lactobacteria?
Ooh, you got some names. Let's go, man. Oh, what kind of bacteria you got? My mom's vagina.
That's exactly what I said in the beginning, is that when you exit through your mom's vagina, when you're born, you pick up all these bacteria, and the bacteria become part of you. So
we got some vagina babies here. We got vagina babies here. Vagina baby, vagina baby, vagina baby, vagina baby.
I suppose I was. I think I was. Are we all vagina babies? I think we are. Yay, vagina babies. Woo. So
literally, I remember it like it was yesterday. My mom's vagina just left to my right. Boom, I'm coming out. Hey-o.
Conehead. Here we go.
Coneheads. I did not expect the Coneheads reference tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
But you pick up all these bacteria because it's kind of a weird biological thing that these bacteria are held on the exit point, and you're supposed to pick them up, just it's like a goodbye bacteria sends you off.
How do you do? How do you do? Yeah. How do you do?
They said that when babies were born via C-section, they could pick up random bacteria via just airflow and dead skin cells in other people, and they're not quite the right bacteria. So by exiting through the right tunnel, you pick up the right stuff.
My son's C-section, he gets sick a lot. Coincidence? Maybe. Maybe not. I'm not here to say he's problematic because he's C-section, because she had a placenta that was low or whatever. They didn't want to mess with that.
So
Interesting.
they were talking about introducing.
Did you see? So there's some recent stuff where they're trying to ameliorate any issues of C-sections. Did you look into that?
No.
So the only thing I read was that they want to reintroduce those bacteria to the baby, so they will like take a sample and put it on the baby to make sure that they pick up those bacteria. It's almost the same as like this new science where they want to, like, instead of alcohol where it like completely destroys most bacteria, they want to flush it with a good set of bacteria, so you're introducing the ones that present like a normal balance.
So they'll basically like do like the Simba thing where like,
with vagina bacteria. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, they'll get little like cotton pads and like wipe the baby with vagina juice.
And as the father, we're gonna wipe the baby with vagina juices right now. And then you're just like, wait, what? Is this a normal step? Oh, totally normal. And you're like, well, this is getting weird.
Can I watch? Can I videotape it? I'm down with this. So what we're getting into is the last thing, which I think we're going to spend the rest of the episode on and then finish here. Farm effect. Do you know what that is? Okay.
Did we talk about is this the hygiene hypothesis?
Yeah. Wow. Yes, it is. You're exactly right there. Farm effect is where people who are raised on a farm have less allergens, less problems, less because they're raised out in dirt, natural soil, natural this, natural that. They don't eliminate as many bacteria. They don't use as much sanitizer. They're dirtier, essentially. But for being dirtier, they end up living better, healthier, immune lives. And I think that's where we're going to end up, because...
Allergies?
Maybe. What's the ultimate ruling on that?
So they're saying like the westernized...
Scientific.
I'm just going to summarize what you just said, essentially. So the westernized countries...
please give me numbers. Give me numbers.
I don't know if I have numbers. I don't think this is a scientific thing, because it's like almost like studying a biosphere. It's like you take little swaths of things. Mm-hmm. We do have an expert, so she's probably going to weigh in just a second.
She's going to jump in with her boots on, her army boots. She's going to have army weapons, and we are against weapons, but we're going to let her talk.
So like... The Western families, they have a smaller family size. They're usually isolated. They're usually given like antibiotics. They're not in the soil. And then they're also like sanitized. They're washing their hands and cleaning themselves. I don't know if that's a good thing to do, because the people that are being introduced to all the bacteria are building up a defense against them.
So no, that's right. And just in terms of numbers, the tricky thing is... So all of that is true. The tricky thing is that they've tried to study this, and of course it's really hard to actually study. There's so many different factors between a family who grows up on a farm versus a family who grows up in the city. There's air, there's antibiotics, there's what they're introduced to. So they have observational studies. They'll track families over time, but you can't really be like, okay, city child, we're going to put you in the country. Like, we're not going to do like a...
You can't switch. There's no swapping partners or whatever it's called.
Wife swap.
Swapping kids. Wife swap with kids.
You can't do like a parent trap. But what they have done is they've done a bunch of animal studies where what they've done is they take mice, and they're called notobiotic mice, but basically it means that they've...
Notobiotic, okay.
Notobiotic, starts with a G. So what they do is they take mice and they clean them off as much as possible. They give them antibiotics, they sterilize them, and they keep them clean. And then these mice have babies, and they keep them super clean, and they test that they don't have any bacteria, anything on them. And then these mice, what they can do is they can take and they can either, like, as infants, give them a little bit of bacteria or not. And then as adults, they'll give them a pathogen. They'll give them some sort of bad bacteria. And what they find is that the mice that have been pre-inoculated, the ones who had exposure to the bacteria early on in their life, are much more likely to clear the disease and not get sick. So there's this idea that you're basically priming your immune system, figure out like what bacteria are good, what are bad, and how to appropriately react to them. Because what's interesting is it's not so much that the mice that don't have the bacteria as babies, it's not that they are not able to mount a defense. It's actually that they go haywire. They take it as an all-out affront where even if you give them kind of innocuous bacteria, they're not going to do much. These mice have never experienced bacteria, and so they go into hyperdrive. They basically go septic really fast. So they're going to have a super high fever. They're going to overreact. And that overreaction is a lot of times what actually kills the mouse. So it's hard to do with people, but what they have found in mice is that, and other animals like that, is that having some pre-exposure can help your body determine if they're going to be like what kind of reaction they'll have to bacteria or to things like allergens.
Did your dog just make a really big moan?
Did you miss it? It was.
He's
I was
so
like,
sorry.
I thought it was Nick, and then Nick looked at me,
And then I was looking
thought
at
it was me.
I looked at
Like,
him.
nope.
I was
He's
like,
so
oh,
dead.
my goodness.
Notobiotic.
So
That's crazy.
He's so dead.
They do that with
So what you're touching on,
they do that with children though. If you're feeding children, you need to make sure that you go through different types of foods so that they don't develop an allergy because they've been exposed to it before. And then you note down which ones they actually are allergic to.
so guys, this is my one chance to brag. I was raised in this exact style, environment. That's our MO, my family. I'm deathly allergic to dogs and cats. When I'm around dogs and cats, I just start sneezing. My neck gets itchy. I get hives. Mostly dogs, I sneeze. Cats, hives, and sneeze. It's just how it is. When I was 16, my parents got a golden retriever, which is very hairy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I sneezed
Dander.
6 months straight. They got a second golden retriever. Like I would just sneeze every day, just nonstop. It made my abs hurt. I had a hernia. I'm suspecting it may have been responsible. I will sue them when this podcast is over. A year removed, I'm not allergic to dogs anymore. Like now I'm around dogs. I'm like, whatever. Cats, I haven't lived with a cat. I think my body just was like, this is allergic. This is bad. This is allergic. This is bad. This is different. This is bad. This is allergic. This is bad. Eventually my body was like, let's just give up. It's living here. We're going to live here. Let's go. Hey. Right? Is that what your body does? Is that a scientific thing? I couldn't find scientific evidence on this procedure.
Yeah. No, actually, that is actually, oh my God, stop. Like, just wake up. No, this is a real thing. So if you ever hear of like allergy therapy, this is something I had, a guy I dated was allergic to everything. But when we broke up, he dated somebody new and she had a dog. And so he decided that he wanted to actually start doing the stuff to allow him to
be around the dog. And so what it is, all it is that you go in and they give you like, depending on what it is. So sometimes they'll go in and give you a shot. So it's like super strong antihistamine and you're fine. But usually what happens is they slowly introduce that allergen. And so they're even doing it now with peanut allergies. There was originally very small portion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And actually this would have, this technology or this therapy would have come out a long time ago. Because it was thought up like 10 years ago and they started to do this trial and there were really promising results. And then a couple of the nurses screwed up the dosage and killed a couple kids where they basically, yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. They like basically didn't move the decimal point the right way. Which is real awful. But it was finally enough time that they got approval to do the stuff again, do it with more of adults. Like, be even more careful, and they're showing really promising results that just like building it up over time. The trick is you have to continually be exposed, because what can happen is if you haven't been exposed for a while, your body kind of jumps back to that original time. So it makes sense actually that having a dog for that long, eventually your body was like, actually we're fine.
It. We're not going to fight it this time.
Tired of this shit.
Yeah, let's just convert to non-allergic. Your body's like, let's give up. So what I want to move into as our finality, which is related to what we're just talking about, is that being dirty sometimes is good for us. Exposing ourselves to germs is a good thing. Being germy, being dirty, being exposed to germs, being friggin' dirtballs is actually good.
I think Nick has to pee, is what I'm thinking.
No, I don't yet. But talking about it, you're messing with me.
I want to bring up two things, maybe 3.
I gotta pee. I don't yet, but I will soon.
There's a mechanism by which the alcohol kills germs. I don't know if I saw eyebrows go up. So like the percentage of alcohol matters. If you hit it with like 100% alcohol, like the germ reacts as if it's like a foreign thing. I think it protects itself. And then like a normal mixture is like 60 or 70% alcohol, because the germ doesn't know how to react to that. And then it actually like dissolves the outside layer of a germ. Is that accurate?
I think it makes sense. I mean, the point is that most bacteria are covered by like a semi-permeable lipid layer. Yeah, bilipid layer. So it's going to be
hydrophobic.
Yeah, so it's going to be hydrophilic on the outsides and hydrophobic in the middle, which is why stuff doesn't permeate through. But if you have some sort of mix, you can probably get through both layers. So you're going to be able to open up that hydrophilic part and the hydrophobic part.
Shove it in there.
Folks, we getting our homos on, we getting our hydros on, we getting our philics on. Like, I'm all in right now. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going, guys.
So one of the
I feel like if we just took your audio from this podcast, it would be perfect.
It would be terrible. It would get us arrested. Anyway.
So like there's a mechanism by which penicillin actually kills bacteria, and I had never known this until I watched a video of penicillin killing bacteria, and I thought it was hilarious because like the penicillin makes it so the bacteria like can't like pump things out, or it like pumps things in too readily, and it just pops.
That makes sense.
That's accurate, right?
Oh, it overfills it. Probably overfills it. That's cool.
So penicillin, the easiest way to describe it is like it looks like part of the cell wall. And so it will bind to you could think of it as like when you're building walls, you have the stud posts, right? So it basically goes and binds to the stud post as if it was a piece of
wall,
the siding or something like that. And so then the siding can't stick onto it, and you have these big holes in the wall. And eventually the pressure inside and outside are too different and just pop. So that's what happens is it's constantly rebuilding, and you just like.
I didn't catch that. That's wild. That's cool.
But it's pretty hilarious because it'll be like cell.
And then it just explodes. So everyone should go and look at what happens when a penicillin is introduced to a germ. It's great.
Interesting.
And then my second thing.
Oh, Jesus, before we get to me.
Yes.
What's your second thing, please?
So the dirtiest individual known to man.
Oh, jeez. Is it me from 10 years ago?
10 minutes ago.
Is that like the lizard thingy?
No, his name is, he's an Indian guy named M.O. Haji.
Is he doing the no shower thing?
He's hydrophilic. He can't even touch water. So he literally is like, he's paralyzed when he gets anywhere near water, and he can't touch it. So his body
paralyzed or fear? Okay.
It's a fear that paralyzes him. So he gets nowhere near water. He doesn't wash his hands. He doesn't clean himself in any way. He looks like he's a human gargoyle.
Sorry, I just realized you meant hydrophobic, like a fear, like a phobia of. I thought you meant.
Yeah, I was going with hydrophilic.
Physically hydrophobic.
Like,
and I
was
He will dissolve in water.
You're like, he can't get anywhere near water. I was like, yeah, he's just like Moses and like fart things.
Yeah, but the dude looks like a gargoyle. It's just ridiculous. Like he's the filthiest person on the planet because he hasn't bathed in like 60 years.
I like him.
I feel bad for him.
But
he's like a Xanax.
He could be. Chill out, dude. Let me see. I think that's almost everything I wanted to cover.
Thank you. So lastly,
God damn
it, stop that. It's annoying after a second. Still awake. Nope, still asleep.
The farm effect, okay? This relates to biome depletion theory, where we're depleting so many biomes that we, by sanitizing, cleaning, over-cleaning, over-sanitizing, over-cleaning, over-sanitizing, sanitizing, cleaning, and over-cleaning, and over-sanitizing,
we're
ruining... No, I did that on purpose. I was stalling for time. So we're ruining stuff that our body needs. Humans are thousands of years old, hundreds of thousands of years old, maybe in the millions of years old. We have symbiotic relationships with the world around us. Maybe we have relationships with these biomes. Maybe it's like, hey, it's a partnership. We let you in. You can defeat some stuff in our bodies. You can make us healthier in one way. All while I let you in. Now we're killing them. So we're not letting them into our bodies, and we're breaking the pact. It's going to do weird stuff to our bodies. We're going to make ourselves weaker in one sense, right? We can't defeat certain things. We don't have the biomes that can properly respond to different invaders. We're putting ourselves at odds. Another cool thing about the harvest or the farm effect is something called the harvest high. Do you know people who do a lot of their own gardening for their own tomatoes, their own lettuce, their own everything? You literally get something called a harvest high if you harvest your own food and like gather it and cut it off the branches and grow it.
Dirt in your fingernails?
Dirt in your fingernails is a real thing.
No, I can't do that. I can't. No, that feeling, I can't do it.
Maybe you're familiar with Mycobacterium vaccaea.
Oh.
Are you?
Yeah, like the Mycobacterium. Is that the one that like has to do with vaccines and shit?
You're exactly pretty much close.
And shit.
Right.
She's got it.
It's in the soil, right? It's a microbe that's naturally occurring. If you cover yourself in dirt, you get your hands dirty every day, you result in something called a Mycobacterium vaccaea, which they come in, they hang out in your body, and guess what? They're not bad guys. They actually are found to have the same results as antidepressants. They increase your serotonin production, and they actually cut down on rheumatoid arthritis. Which I thought was crazy. I was like, what? I was like, sure.
Give me an injection of that.
I mean, I'll believe it. Or they're covered in dirt all the time, and so nobody hangs out with them, and you don't have to deal with assholes. You're like,
yeah,
that's great.
They love you.
You do raise an important part. But when you're dirty, when you're covered in dirt, there's a natural symbiosis that maybe we're ignoring, or maybe we're killing.
How convenient when you're covered in dirt.
When I'm covered in dirt, I feel so happy, you guys. You have no idea. Look, there's a lot of dirt under these fingernails, okay? That dirt was frozen. I had to rub it on my body, on my face. When I did, my blood pressure definitely went down. I definitely felt a little happier. I definitely was like, wow, my serotonin production is up like a little bit. Just a little bit. But I liked it. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's something to being a dirtball. I was a dirtball in college. I'm going to raise my hand right here.
Do you know what dirt?
I just found out when I moved in with my girlfriend that your shower towel, which I thought was the cleanest towel you could have. It's after you shower, right? You shower, you cover your body in soap, you wash it off, you get out of the shower, and you put the towel around you, right? That towel? I didn't wash it for like a year and a half.
No.
I didn't know.
This is a true story.
I had no idea.
Oh,
this is very
God.
true. My girlfriend came over and went, this thing's starting to stink. When'd you wash it? like a month ago? And I was like, a month ago? You don't wash this. It's your shower towel. And she was like,
it's for when you're clean.
You need to wash it.
Your body's already
like,
clean when you dry yourself off, right, Nick?
That's what I said. I was like, I'm clean. I'm drying off. It's fine. It needs to be cleaned. For everyone at home listening, clean your shower towel.
And
I mean, I
don't use it. Say, like they never change their toothbrush because, like, oh, it's for cleaning your teeth. So,
number 2 dirtiest spot on your house list, folks.
Toothbrush.
Your toothbrush holder. That thing gets nasty.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's true. Oh, I feel like your house would have different stats though.
Every other house.
Like compared to your shower towel, you should just like sponge yourself off afterwards.
So we touched on food poisoning. Did you know me and Tom, my roommate, 4 years?
Can we send samples of your house to her to test, and then we can tell what part of your house is the dirtiest? And then
the guy wasn't a landlord professionally. He just bought one house and decided to rent it to college kids. The people that lived there before us had decorative wooden figurines on their stairs.
Like sconces.
Oh my God. They were so beautiful. They had decorative stuff on their walls. They had ideas. They had dreams. They had goals. When he rented to us the next year, one night someone just peed on a wall. And I was standing there telling him to stop, but he started peeing. He shivered at the end. If anyone's wondering. That house became the dirtiest house I've ever lived in. Dishes would sit there for 3 weeks. I'm just saying, I went through a phase where I was the dirtiest person on earth. Me and Tom had a lot to drink. We found ribs in the fridge because Alicia dated Ben, and no women came into our house and like made food. But Alicia,
no, fuck no. Alicia coming in there making food.
Alicia did. She's a friend of mine from grade school who dated a friend of mine from college. God bless her. She would make food. We grabbed the ribs out of that fridge. They were coated in barbecue sauce. I ate them. They were delicious.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. We ate the whole thing. We ate like 6 ribs each. We were drunk. Me and Tom. God bless us. Who cares?
Please, they were cooked.
Next morning, Alicia said, "Where are the ribs? Did you guys cook them and eat them?" And I said, I didn't cook them. I thought they were cooked. And she said, "No, you assholes. They were raw." And me and Tom ate raw pork ribs. And pork apparently is the worst one to eat raw. But anyway, it really taught us a lot about life, and we never got sick. And let's move on to food poisoning, guys.
Oh, can we talk about food poisoning? I've been waiting for this one. Ah, yeah. Okay, so food poisoning. I'm going to say awfully, this bacteria is Campylobacter?
Campylobacter. Yes. Jejuni.
Well, yeah, Jejuni is like 20-something%. No, that's the same thing. 77% is like what people are actually getting food poisoning from. So if you can food, the Campylobacter is in there, and it's going to infect everything. And then salmonella comes in a close, not even a close second. It's like 20%, and then E. coli is like 2%. So if you have like canned food that is old, that Campy dealy is going to destroy your insides. So you probably shouldn't eat it.
You're going to shit for days. It's amazing.
And
great way to lose weight.
Yeah. The question to you is that, so if you actually boil that and kill all the bacteria, like, is that a way to unpoison food? Or is there no way to recover the food that was once there?
Well, so that's a really good question. I'm not sure the mechanism of action for Campylobacter for killing things. So there's a few different ways that bacteria can make you sick. For instance, listeria is going to it actually has to get into your cells and like zip around.
Ooh,
it's so cool. Listeria is so cool. But it like will get into the cells and pop them. Like they get in and they just into other cells. And so part of what makes you sick. They also make a bunch of chemicals and stuff, listerine and stuff, that will act as toxins. But certain things like Clostridium botulinum, because it makes botulism. Or also,
honey. I get it in honey every day, and then I defeat it. Whatever.
Yeah. That's spores. So you'll be okay. But like active, so that's something that can contaminate canned goods as well. But that's actually a toxin. So if that's already created, you're not going to be able to kill it with heat. So if you have something where you like E. coli, a lot of times E. coli, it's not going to be making that much toxin. So you might be able to just kill it with the heat, eat it. A lot of times stuff like meat, like salmonella, you could just kill it. It's going to taste gross if it's clearly contaminated. There's so much bacteria there, I can't even tell you. But if you just kill it, it should be fine. But if you have something like a really bad botulinum infection or contamination and you kill that, you're still going to have a lot of the toxins there, unless you're like pressure cooking to death your food.
Yeah, so like something like Bacillus cereus?
Bacillus cereus.
Cereus.
That's a favorite. I get to play with that in my lab.
Cool. Oh, is that a BAC1 or whatever, the BCL1 or whatever?
BSL.
That's what I said.
That's a heat-stable toxin. It's the byproduct of bacteria going crazy inside your food. So you can never cook that out.
So did you see what that most often is in?
No, I did not.
So if you've ever, Bacillus cereus is usually the reason why people, if they get food poisoning from like Indian or Chinese food, and a lot of people go like, oh, I got food poisoning from them. I got their food and I ate it over a couple days, and suddenly on the last day it made me really sick. So Bacillus cereus is in a lot of rice, and it's no big deal because usually it's in like the spore form. It's going to be fine. You're going to eat it. It's fine. The problem is if you cook it and then you have it at room temperature, it's going to grow really, really well. So if you ever have like rice, don't leave it at room. I just realized that I have a bunch of rice downstairs at room temperature.
Oh, she forgot.
God damn it. I'm going to have to make more rice. I'll probably just eat it anyway. So, but that's the thing. That's why a lot of times people, if they get food poisoning, will get it from these certain restaurants, because either they'll take it home and they'll leave it on the counter, but really a lot of times lower grade restaurants will make a bunch of rice in the morning, and by the end of the day it's just been sitting at room temperature. It's going to cause that cereus to really grow very well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
be serious about your food safety.
Bacillus cereus. I think that covers everything. If you want to do a recap, he needs to pee or something. I don't know what he's doing. Don't take your shirt.
Recap.
Stop doing the shirt off thing. Oh, Jesus.
Another shirt on.
Thank God. I've seen his chest far too much. And he shaved it too. See that? There's a line right there. Is it?
What? My chest line?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, usually I get a phoenix head that appears here. I get what's called a what's the thing that dies and comes to life? Phoenix, right?
Mons pubis.
Dies.
Jesus Christ. But anyway, it has wings that come out to here. It looks like the bird that dies and comes back to life.
That's a phoenix.
Yeah. Anyway, the head's usually here. I have to shave the head because it comes like to here, and I'm wearing shirts. It's like, it's a phoenix. I hate to explain it to people, but you know.
Yep.
What I want to end this episode on is just that there's a reason we shouldn't try and overstep our bounds. We shouldn't try and kill all these germs. We shouldn't try and overcook things. We shouldn't try and... There's a weird thing that happens when we try and overstep our bounds. We try and kill germs. We are germaphobes. We
try to battle everything.
Yeah.
Humans.
And then we overdo it.
Yeah.
So what happens? We end up making ourselves sick again, don't we?
Yeah, because we live in symbiosis with other things.
So how does that happen? Is that because of thousands of years of evolution and life and living? And so is it better to just let life happen? Be dirty? Kind of get your hands dirty? Do whatever? Or should we stop germs? Should we wash our hands after we pee? I won't. I will not wash my hands after I pee. You hear me, folks? I will not wash my hands. Like, what should we do? I have no idea. We've got this weird crossroads. What? So you're telling me to do it, but also not? What should we do?
I think unless you get sick, don't worry about being sick. In general, have some good practices. Again, that rule of moist surfaces, that's where you need to be worried. Don't worry about your hands getting dirty unless you put them in your mouth or in your eyes, touching your eyes. And yeah, like that's the things you got to worry about. Most of the stuff is going to be passed through liquid, so
put it in my eye.
That's going to be fine. Yeah, don't.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Waft.
So, yeah, and unless you're immunocompromised, most of the stuff you're going to be okay. And thanks to modern medicine, even if you're not, a lot of the stuff we can get rid of.
Yeah, except for prions and water bears, which are tardigrades.
Oh my god, he just wanted to get there before the episode was over. It's like,
sure
my god, holy crap.
You have a tardigrade!
50 minutes.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get to that, but I had to flash it. I flashed it.
Yeah, I'll give him a clap.
Water
too.
bear. Yeah, thank you. Those things are vulnerable and they're going to
notice
outlast us.
You see that pinky right there?
No one cares about your pinky.
I'm telling you, it's called campodactyly. I can flatten it if I want, but it just naturally goes back to that state.
Is it the same length?
Yeah, it's like a trigger finger, but
Yeah, I can't even do that.
Not to be outdone.
Mm-hmm.
Nick has a weird finger.
I can flick it like really hard though. So if like I have food on it, like boom, 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 boom.
That's so good.
Okay. Recap. Let's go to the recap.
What do we cover?
We covered tardigrades. Yep, water bears. Tardigrades.
Germs.
And water bears.
We talked about, oh my god, we talked about Howie Mandel for like the whole episode.
Penicillin,
Howie
alcohol.
Mandel. Oh my god. Orbital cortex. Folks, we talked about the germaphobes.
60 years, no showers.
With your foot.
Oh, contamination. Mysophobia.
Oh, wait. Do you know what button germaphobes are afraid to press?
We talked about water sports. That's pretty good.
Ogliodynamic effect.
We did.
We talked about milk. We also talked about sausage. There's going to be little insects in there. Don't worry about it.
Women.
You're going to be fine.
Milk and boys.
Yeah, vaginal cavities. They're full of whatever you want to do.
We're milking everyone out here, folks. We talked about OCD versus germaphobes.
Cell phones,
talked about all the stuff
tablets,
you go through.
Toilet seats.
Money, dirty money.
When you poop.
Not real paper.
We talked about poop.
Hygiene hypothesis.
Oh, real quick. Do you guys know what the dirtiest thing in a plane is?
You.
Air filters?
We go by CFUs. Seatbelts have 230. Stall locks have 70 in there. Drinking fountain button, mostly in airports, not in the plane, have like 1,200.
Yeah.
Number one, folks, tray table.
Oh, fuck you.
55. Oh my God. I used to lick our tray tables. Now I'm going to stop. What? I used to lick the tray table. Not anymore. Folks, we touched every germ. We touched every phobia. We touched everything. We talked about how the soil makes you happier. Did we talk about that? Serotonin?
Certainly did.
I was covered in dirt. I felt great for this whole episode.
Fantastic.
Really, I want to thank our guests for being on here.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Pander Dan. Thank you. I'm really sorry.
Undanders.
Undanders. God damn it. So thank you guys for tuning in. You can hit our Patreon. You can donate millions of dollars. You can do a butt chin thing on Pander Dan. Susanna
Any butt chin likers out there?
Susanna runs like Instagram. She's got a Twitter.
Susanna L Harris.
Yeah, check it out. It's probably somewhere on the page. You can look at it. You can find it.
It's
You'll find me
down here.
Look for all
Nick's
of us.
Left.
To Nick's left. That's my
Susanna's left too.
And Susanna's left.
There you go. It's on there.
All I'm saying is find this stuff and just throw money at it. Like millions of dollars. If you're a billionaire, throw a couple mil. Who cares? See
Where's
what
that
happens.
dollar you had earlier?
I ate it. You're a sponge, folks. Dr. Smart.
Learn so much.
Tastes like kitchen. Thanks for joining us. We had a lot of fun tonight. I can't believe we learned so much. We like you, folks. We like you
a lot. Thank you.
Check some socials.